welcome to episode 111 of the Driftless Knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. You can find my patterns on driftlessknitting.com as well as Ravelry, and on Payhip. Actually, I have all of them up on Payhip, all of them up on Ravelry, and I am slowly moving them to driftlessknitting.com. So you can find them all there as well if you aren't able to access Ravelry. I am coming to you today on August 29th. It took me a moment to remember what day it was. August 29th, 2021, and it is a Sunday. It is 2:18 p.m. I just put my son down for his afternoon nap, and so I think I'll have a little bit of time to record an episode. I quickly gathered everything, and I'm hoping it doesn't take too long. I don't have a whole lot to talk about, although you never know. I might just, go off on a tangent or something like that. It's always a possibility. It is a hot and steamy day. It's been really hot lately. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week. We're supposed to only be in the 70s. It's been in the high 80s, low 90s for the past, couple of weeks now. We got a lot of rain the other day. I think on Friday, Thursday and Friday of this week, we got a lot of rain, which is great. But also, it's been very, very humid with all that moisture. So yeah, not super fun. I'm definitely not a summer person. I enjoy being outside, and it's really hard for me to be outside when it's this hot out, especially with a little one. We have to either go outside in the very early morning or right before his bedtime, taking a walk or something, or else we can't really get outside right now. So that's kind of disappointing. But I know that it'll get better soon, and I'm sure a lot of us are looking forward to the autumn weather, the cool nights and the cool days, being able to be outside with just a nice sweater on or sweatshirt, something like that. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm actually going to an apple orchard tomorrow. This week is a little bit different for me. This upcoming week, I work from home Monday and Tuesday, and I work starting Wednesday. I am back at Knit Circus pretty much every day, every work day, because Hudson is starting daycare. He has a wonderful daycare mom, daycare person that will be having him in her home. She has several other kids that she takes care of, and she's a very highly recommended person to watch Hudson, and comes highly recommended. All the kids love her, and she's been doing this for a long time. But it's still really hard. It's still gonna be really emotional on Wednesday to drop him off, but I know he's gonna have fun, and it's such a great chance for him to meet other kids and play with other kids, because he really hasn't had that chance. He was born almost a year ago. He'll be a year in September. September 8th is his birthday. So in this past year of the pandemic, he really hasn't gotten to be around too many kids. So that's going to change a little bit. Thankfully, there aren't too many kids there, and all of the kids who are school age, there's only a couple of them who go to preschool and then come back for half the day. They are all masked while they're inside the house. So he will be safe. And we're just gonna keep an eye on the situation. Hopefully, we don't have to keep him home all the time again, but you never know. We're just gonna take it moment by moment, I suppose. You can never be sure how things are gonna turn out, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I have been working on a few projects lately. I have a finished object to show you, a couple works in progress, one skein of yarn, only one, and the prize drawing to announce. So last week I celebrated having over 800 subscribers to the channel, and I was giving away a prize. So I'll show that and announce the winner. And thank you all for commenting and for watching the episode last time. So my finished object, my only finished object, is the pair of socks that I was working on. So I finished them, I got them done. I was so excited. I finished them last week on, not Friday, Saturday, when my husband and I were driving down to one of my best friend's weddings. I was in the wedding last weekend. It was actually a week ago today. It was a beautiful wedding. It was outside Chicago at the Arboretum, at the Morton Arboretum there, which is just beautiful. And we were staying nearby, so we had a little mini vacation 2 nights away, and I got to get all dolled up, and it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. So on the way down, I only really had the cuff left to do on the second one, and I finished that in the car while we were driving down. So here they are. This sock pattern does not have a name. It is not really available. I just did a broken seed stitch there. I did them toe up. I started with the Judy's Magic Cast On, and I knit my socks with 56 stitches in the round magic loop. I also always do a Fish Lips Kiss heel for my own socks that I wear. And did I say I did them on a size 1 US 1, 2.25? Yeah, that's a 2.25 millimeter. I cannot talk. And this yarn is Greatest of Ease base from Knit Circus, and this was a sale sock set. So the yarn did not turn out right. It was a misdye, and so they were on sale. As you can see, there's really, really light colors at the bottom, and those should have been darker. And then this top part is pretty much what it's supposed to look like, but the bottom part is not. And you can see they're almost alike. So we dye our sock set so that they match, but of course, especially with, this was supposed to be a modernist colorway. So especially with the modernist colorways, they're not exactly matching. You're gonna have similar color changes. Like you can see, I've got like the really, really light, and then it starts getting like flecks of pink. And then I've got some pink, some yellow, you know, this really big stretch of pink, and then it gets into the blues. It's not exactly matching, but they're quite similar. They even have like a line of pink, you know, up here. And of course, it all depends too where I hit it on the ball, like the cast on, you know, so it might be slightly off. Like this one has a little bit of that pink up in the cuff, but it's the back of the sock, not the front. So you never know kind of where that color is gonna hit. But I really, really love them. I wear a size 7 shoe, and I always get the medium sock sets from Knit Circus. This was almost the entire ball of yarn. So if I were to get a large, the large is 50 grams, 2 50-gram cakes, whereas the medium is like 75 grams total. So I guess that would be what, 37.5 grams per, right? 37, yeah, okay. I'm like, did I do that division correctly in my head? Per cake, roughly, it's about 150 yards? 175 yards per cake? Because the large is 200 yards per cake. I think it's 150 per cake. Don't quote me on that. Even though I work there, it's sometimes hard to keep all those numbers in your head. So if I were to get a large, these would have an extra like few inches on the top, and that would be like way too long for my preference. I don't really like them going, you know, these are even long for what I knit past the ankle, you know, but any longer than that, I wouldn't be happy with them. They'd be too tight on my calf, they'd be too long. But anyway, I know everyone has a different preference with how long their socks are. So if you do like really long socks and you are like a size 7 or 8, get the large. But this was what I had left, so I did have a little bit left over. But the first one, I had just decided, you know, I was just done knitting it. I didn't want it any longer than that. And the second one, of course, then I had to keep with the same length. So I did have a little bit left over, not a whole lot though. I actually could make a square with this in my Cozy Memories blanket, which I am gonna show you next. I think I said everything about that sock pattern. I did do a 2x2 rib. I guess that's the only thing I didn't say. So there's a 2x2 rib, and I did a stretchy cast off. And yeah, really excited to add another pair of socks to my bin of hand knit socks for this winter. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my blanket from behind me. And yesterday, ignore all the ends on that side here. I usually weave in my ends as I go, or I like knit a couple of squares and then weave in all the ends. But I just haven't. So yeah, I just, whenever I pick it up, I just want to knit a square really quick, and I don't take the time to actually weave in the ends. So I need to do that very soon. But the last time, I can't remember if it was the last episode or the episode before, I showed you these 2 squares I had done. That was a few weeks ago. And then yesterday I knit this square right here. We were doing the very last Zoom get together, Zoom crochet knit along for the Knit Circus 5K make along, which was running from May until the end of August. So it was a really long make along. People were challenged to knit or crochet with it's a 5K, so 5 kilometers, which is like 5,000 meters, which is roughly like 5,000, I don't know, like almost 5,500 yards, if that makes any sense. Again, numbers, not my strong suit. So yesterday we were doing the Zoom call, and there were 3 of us that were doing the final, like, you know, fun Zoom call. We did a bingo game. We gave away some prizes. People were chatting and knitting. It was a lot of fun, but I had forgotten my regular knitting project, and I'd had this in the car from our trip down to Illinois, because of course I was worried I was going to run out of knitting. I did finish my socks, and I worked on this other project, and I just threw my blanket in the car on the off chance like I finished this other project that I had. And it was still in the back seat. So I grabbed that and I cast on this little square. And I'm so happy I got another square done. This is the yarn that went with this one from last week. So I wanted them to be together next to each other in some fashion. And I thought that these 2 looked pretty nice together. This bright one with the green, the emeraldy turquoise green. So these 2 are both a Homespun House yarns. I got them several years ago when Molly was living here in Wisconsin, and she vended at the Madison Knitters Guild Knit-In. They always do like classes and a small vendor show. So they have like bags and yarn, and it's like a small version of a yarn festival. And she was vending there. So I got both of these, and I knit a shawl out of them, and it is the shawl that I have never shown and don't know if I ever will, that I tried to design and it did not turn out right. I talked about that last episode, so if you're curious to know a little bit more and you didn't watch that episode, go ahead and fill yourself in with that. But I love these 2 colors together, so they looked great in the shawl, and I wanted to kind of remember that project, so I put them next to each other. I did the same thing with the yarn for my, I'll start down here, for my Find Your Fade. So it started with this like turquoise. This was color 2, color 3, color 4, color 5, color 6, and color 7 that I did for my Find Your Fade, and I put all those next to each other. There's been several. All of the top row is my 2019 A Homespun House Advent Calendar, the remnants of it, because she did 20 gram skeins and it was way more than I needed, and I'm still working on putting the rest of those in. So this is what I have left, but I want them all across the top, or not the top, it won't be the top, but like all across one row. So that's those left. Quite a bit of yarn left in there, I just realized. But I also did these two together. Those were a verb for keeping warm yarns that I got at the Steven & Steven show, gosh, I don't know, 2013, 14, something like that. And I knit those two into a Pure Joy shawl by Joji Locatelli. Wondering if there's any other yarns that like went together. I don't know, but I kind of like doing that. If I knit a project with 2 colors or 3, and I kind of want to remember that, I put them next to each other, like all in a row. And then I also did that. So these are all, oh, I did that here too. These 2 are Woolberry Fiber Company yarns, and I knit a Curia Cove shawl by Tammy Gore out of those 2. And then all of these, between my 2 fingers, those 4 squares from here to here, those are all Christmas yarns that I did Christmas Eve cast-ons with. This was the first year that I ever did it, and then that's pretty sure, unless that's one that looks very similar, because I had a remnant from someone that looked very similar to the Woolen Homestead's Vintage Christmas, which is what I did my first ever Christmas Eve cast on with. And then this was from a friend. She used to have a yarn company, and that was one of her yarns that I did year 2, and then this was year 3. That's a Bumblebee Acres Farm, and this was year 4. That's another Bumblebee Acres Farm. And then, of course, you know, as you knit your blanket, you're not going to always keep, oh God, I have a mess in here, keep the yarns together. Oh, geez. Oh, that's a mess. Look at that, that's a mess. That was in my bag. I might have to ball that up. Oh, that's bad, look at that. That could have been really bad. But this is my Christmas Eve cast on yarn from last year. That's now in a mop. Oops. I did like skein up a lot of my remnants that I had in my bag. Oh, and this is leftover. This is the homespun house that I did the other square in. I need to take that out. And then I have a lot left of this one, so that's definitely worth saving for something. Oh, and it just rolled off the couch. But yeah, I need to go through here and make sure that my yarn isn't going crazy, because I haven't done that in a while. I want to say like sometime last summer, I went through all my remnants and I reballed them up. That's why, now that I'm thinking about it, I was working from home all of 2020 almost, and I had one of the Knit Circus electric winders here at home because I was doing some processing, and we cake up all of our gradient yarns, so we use electric winders to do that. And it was great because I had this amazing winder right here at home, and I like caked up so much stuff and like recaked a bunch of stuff, and that was some of the things that got recaked. Just to keep that bag, yes, to avoid what happened with my Christmas yarn. Anyway, so that is my blanket. Where did I put it back in the bag, so it won't be behind me anymore, but oh well, that's okay. Okay, so let's show you the whip that you have seen before and show you the progress on it. This is in my bird legs bag, my adorable farm bag. They unfortunately do not make bags anymore, but it's really cute. And this is my road trip cowl. It's the leftover city cowl, and it is being knit in my Woolberry Fiber Company road trip minis. So this was the road trip game from Woolberry Fiber Company this year. There was 10 10-gram minis, and we had to guess out of a list, we had to guess which landmarks these were. And I think last time I podcasted, I was kind of around here where this dark color was coming in. And then, yeah, since then I've done a couple more. Last night I finished up this colorway and I started doing the one by one like color work up there. And now I finished all those rows and now I can just knit with the next color, which is always great. It's like 5 or 6 rows of just stockinette and I can just zoom around. And then as soon as I kind of get, I don't know, the color gets old. Well, these colors are so beautiful. I don't know if they would get old, but then I get to switch to a new color. And I only have these 2 left. These are the last 2. So I'm really excited. I'm almost done. This is number 9. So this one will go in next. I forget which ones these are all based on. I did not get them all right. Several of my colors were different than, you know, it's just kind of, it's all by chance in a way. Like some of my colors had more green and more blue, and of course I interpret the colors differently than someone else will. So it's all just dependent on that. And this is colorway 10. Really, really pretty. So I'm really excited about finishing that because I think I'm gonna get so much wear out of this. I cannot wait. It's gonna lay really nice once I block it. This is done out of an 80% merino and 20% nylon. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. I still have to weave in all the ends. I have not done any of that, but I just might have to have like a weaving in end day where I do all of my blanket, I do all of the cowl. I actually have I went through some of my hand knits today. Hudson helped me. He just sort of like threw things out of the chest. I have like a wooden chest that has like a lid that like opens, you know, and it's kind of like a bench. It doubles as a bench, but the seat lifts up. So anyway, I was kind of going through that. I was really in like the mindset of like fall and getting really excited about that. And I'm like, I should inventory my hand knits and make sure they're all nice and folded up. And so I started doing that, and then Hudson came over and just like threw everything out of the bench, and then I was trying to fold them all and he just comes over and is just like throwing them everywhere. He had a blast, but I had to kind of sneak some of them and like fold them up and like quickly put them in there, shut the lid, and then like he'd play a little more and then I'd like grab a few more, fold them, like put them in there. But I couldn't leave the lid up because he'd just come over and start rifling through them again. But oh yeah, there's a couple, I forgot why I was telling you that story. There was a couple projects in there that still had ends to be woven in, and one of them is a cowl that I knit right after Hudson was born last year, and I just wore it like all winter and didn't care that the ends weren't woven in. But now I'm like, I need to go back and do that. There's a couple pairs of socks too that I've knit recently. And I think one that I've knit a long time ago that I never wove the ends in on, and every time I go to wear them, I remember the ends are still hanging there, and so I put them back. I just need to take them out, get the ends taken care of, and wear them. So silly. But anyway, this has a progress keeper from Katie of Lock and Lou. That is a chicory flower, and it reminds me of summertime because you see all the chicory, the blue chicory flowers along the side of the road. And I thought, what a perfect progress keeper for a road trip cowl. So I love this so much. I'm so excited to wear that. It's gonna be the perfect thing to just put on with like every single outfit. So excited. So my next project is one that I started on Saturday after I finished my socks on our way down to my friend's wedding. And I am knitting this out of, oh my gosh, this yarn is so amazing. This is not brand new, but fairly new to the Knit Circus store or Knit Circus shop. This is our Daring DK base, which is 80% superwash merino and 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. It is so soft and delicious. I love it. It's my first time knitting with it, and I couldn't love it more. This is the Sage Advice colorway, which also is delicious and beautiful. It's just a really nice green, like sage green color. Absolutely love it. I've been wanting to knit with this since we came out with that color, and it's not that long ago, but probably like beginning of the summer we were starting to dye it up, and I'm like, I still want to knit a sweater out of it. I want to knit Hudson something out of it, but first things first, I'm knitting a hat. And which hat do you think this is? This is the Cabin in the Woods hat. It is hat number 2 for me because I was first designing this hat with a discontinued colorway, which I knew was discontinued, but I kind of wanted to get the numbers worked up and everything. And that was that beautiful dark green colorway from a couple episodes ago. And this one I decided this will be the one that's photographed and in the pattern. And it shows off the texture really, really nice. I am gonna show you this hat because I'm really hoping that in the next couple of weeks, I finish it, I photograph it, and then I can get the pattern up. And I did hear back from my friend Tanya. She was testing it for me, and all the numbers and everything came out okay. So at least I know that. And she's gonna knit another one too, which I'm really excited to see. She knit hers in like a light purple, a lavender color, and it just turned out gorgeous. So this is the hat. I love that texture. It's a texture that I've used in a couple different projects. My Birds and Bud socks uses this same stitch, and I use it in the Show Some Love shawl with another stitch, but this I just thought was great for a fairly simple hat with just a nice all over texture to it. I love how it looks in that light green. Isn't that beautiful? I want to like get this crease out of there so you can see it. Oh, it's so, so pretty. So yes, this is going to be done in a DK weight, or the pattern's written for a DK weight, and I'm almost done with it. It flew off the needles, absolutely flew off the needles. And then I got to the decrease section and I kind of had to wait to remind myself of the numbers. And while I like the break between knitting the body of the hat and knitting the decreases, even though it was only a couple of days, I did not read the pattern. I know it's my own pattern. I should read it. I should know it. But after I did the last like repeat, I went straight into the decreases, and I didn't see, I need to like format. It wasn't like the official formatting of the pattern, which is why it was kind of weird, but there was like at the top of the page, it said to knit 2 rounds after the last repeat, and I didn't do that. And while maybe normally I would just be like, it's okay, this is the sample for a pattern that I'm writing. I think I need to knit it correctly. So I'm gonna rip back. You can see I did some of the decreases. I have to rip back anyway because I missed the round when I was supposed to do my next textured row. I knit like 2 past it, and so I wanted to come down anyway and do that texture row. And then I realized I missed the 2 rounds in between the decreases and the last repeat. So I am just gonna rip out, it's like 6 rows. I'm gonna rip those out and do it correctly. So I just haven't gotten around to that. It's been late the last 2 nights when I've gotten some knitting time, and late as in like 9 o'clock, but still these days with a baby that wakes up early, we're in bed by at least 10. If it's 10 o'clock, it feels late. So like really late. So if it's like 9 o'clock or later, I'm just like, you know what, I'm picking up my mindless knitting. I'm just gonna do that. And this used to be my go-to mindless knitting for a little while, because the body part it's so easy to memorize. It's so much fun. But yeah, now I have to rip and pick up stitches, and I'm gonna save that for a time when I'm awake, alert. But anyway, I'm loving that, and like I said, I'm hoping to get that published within a couple of weeks once this one's done, photographed, and ready to go. And that's in this really beautiful blue bag. I believe Beth, my friend Beth that I've met a couple of times way back when I was still living in Minnesota, she gave this to me. She sent this and a Christmas themed bag to me. And yeah, blue is my favorite color. Blue and white is a really great combination. Classic. It always reminds me of my Oma. She and I both love blue, and a lot of her like decor, so her plates and cups and her little tea cups are all in this blue and white motif. And it's very, you see a lot, at least maybe it's just her home, but she has a lot of decor from Germany. She's from Germany, and a lot of that is in blue and white. And I don't know if that's just a really classic combination across cultures, or if that's a specific like German thing. I don't know. You see a lot of Swedish and Norwegian stuff in blue and white too, so maybe that's just like a go-to. But anyway, I love this bag. It's such a summery, fun fabric, and it's perfect for just a little hat project. Okay, so that is all of the knitting I've been doing, all the projects I've been working on, but I did get some fun mail. I could not help myself. I had to order something. I wanted to order everything, but I had to order something from the latest Bumblebee Acres update. Or not latest, I think they did add some new things this past Friday, but I think the Friday before that, they were doing their initial autumn color update. And I have gotten some of their autumnal colors in the past. Last year, around the time of Hudson's birth, I got 3 amazing colorways from them, and I still haven't knit with them. They're like in my shrine of yarn that I just stare at, and I have to wait for the perfect project to cast on with them. But I knew that their autumn colors were going to be gorgeous, and I was right. There were a few that I desperately wanted, but one that did come home with me that jumped in my cart was this colorway here. And this is their card. There we go. And look how beautiful that is. So I ordered this colorway. This is called Old Salem. How pretty. Oh my gosh, can't you? Oh, that like chestnut brown color. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's beautiful. And this is on their bubble sock yarn, which makes it even more beautiful because this is 80% merino silk and 80% merino silk. Oh my gosh, 80% merino wool and 20% silk. I can't talk today for some reason. I've stumbled over a lot of words. Oh well, thanks for bearing with me. But yeah, look how pretty that is. I'm just gonna keep this up here so you can just stare at it for the rest of the episode. So this has 400 yards. It is a fingering weight. Obviously, it's their bubble sock yarn, and I'm probably gonna do a cowl out of this because it's so pretty, and I just want this wrapped around my neck. I'll just wear it like this, or I'll undo the, I don't want to undo the skein, but undo the skein and just wrap it around my head. That's how nice it is. Doesn't even have to be knit. So yeah, really, really happy that this came, that I grabbed a skein of it. They have some other really pretty yarns, probably still in their shop, and then I think they're doing an update this upcoming week. I can't really remember, but I think they're adding autumn colors like as the season approaches. So if you want some of that, if you want some of their other ones, their Red Barn in Autumn is one of the most beautiful colorways I've ever seen in my entire life. I have a skein of it. I ordered it last year when it came out, and I believe they have more of that. So go check it out. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. Okay, so the time has come to draw. I already drew for the winner, but to announce the winner of this prize bag. So to remind everybody, and for those of you who maybe didn't catch last episode, I'm giving away this little project bag. It's a drawstring bag that's perfect for a one skein project or a little, you know, pair of socks or something. And in it is a sock blank. And this was hand dyed by Dye Monkey Yarns. She was experimenting with sock blanks. I don't think she usually sells them, but they were at a trunk show and I snagged one. Really, really pretty. I just haven't gotten around to knitting with it, and I thought, you know, I have so much sock yarn, someone else could enjoy the novelty of a hand-dyed sock blank, and how perfect is it for summer with all those sunflowers. So that is the prize, and then there's also this awesome Notions pouch with some stitch markers, cable needles, a tape measure, some like a lotion, hard lotion bar. What else is in here? I think that's about it. And then of course the Notions bag itself. And all of that fit very nicely into this bag. So you know that you can take this and all of the things you need along with you. The winner of this prize is Rosemary Young. So congratulations. Thank you so much for entering, and yeah, I'm really appreciating everybody who was commenting, who has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed or you just heard about the podcast, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe button. Just kind of gets my podcast out there for fellow knitters, fellow crafters who might want something to watch while they're working. Yeah, so congratulations, and let me know what your address is so I can send this to you. So your full name, if that isn't your full name, or I don't know, whatever name you want me to address the package to, let me know your name and your address and I'll get this sent to you as soon as possible. You can either instant message me. You can, wow, instant message, that's like such an old school term, isn't it? You can direct message me on Instagram. Again, my Instagram name is Driftless Knitter, all one. Or you can email me. Honestly, probably the best email would be my work email. So it's jennifer@knitcircus.com is my work email. And I check that one religiously, obviously, because it's for work. And I would be worried that any other email might get lost. And I also check my Instagram very regularly. So that's why those two would be the best places to get a hold of me. So thank you so much. And I think I'm about ready to sign off for today. I really appreciate everybody watching. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for giving my podcast a chance. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said before, if you'd like to subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. Give the video a thumbs up or leave a comment so that it gets, you know, a little bit more attention from fellow knitters. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you as well. You know that I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm so glad to have familiar faces and familiar names commenting and watching. Some of you commented that you've been watching since the beginning, and it's been like 4 years. It's getting close actually to my podcast anniversary. I can't remember the exact day. I could probably go back and look on YouTube. But I do think that this might be maybe my 5th year, my 5-year podcast anniversary. I was still living up in La Crescent, Minnesota when I started. I was working at a yarn shop up there in Winona, and You guys have been with me through everything, through my move down here to the Madison area, getting my job at Knit Circus, getting married. I got married in 2018 and having my son now. So it's really, really cool that so many of you have been watching since the beginning. And if you've gone back and watched, that is just amazing, and thank you so much. Apologies for the poor quality on some of my videos, and I'm sure just the blabbering or not, I don't know, incoherence at times, but I really, really appreciate it. So thank you all so much. I'll hopefully talk to you again very soon. Until then, I almost forgot my little tagline. Until then, do things that make your heart happy, be kind to one another, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.